I'm Michael, aka Oscar Man, and though horror films aren't really my forte, I'm going to discuss the performances that the Academy chose as the year's best, as well as the many Oscar records these wins shattered. Here's one of which I am a number one fan.
But I didn't cheer. I stood right up and started shouting, "This isn't what happened last week! Have you all got amnesia? They just cheated us! This isn't fair! He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car!"
Annie Wilkes brought Kathy Bates to the attention of audiences who missed her performances in the dozen or so films she made before Misery.
I do everything to try and make you happy. I feed you, I clean you, I dress you, and what thanks do I get? Oh, you bought the wrong paper, Annie. I can't write on this paper, Annie. Well, I'll get your stupid paper, but you just better start showing me a little more appreciation around here, Mr. Man.
As the obsessed fan who makes life miserable for author Paul Sheldon, Kathy Bates became the first woman to win a Best Actress Oscar for a horror film.
I'm not a movie star type. You'll never know the fear of losing someone like you if you're someone like me.
Though Jessica Lange and Barbra Streisand were mentioned as possible choices for Annie, the role was eventually offered to Angelica Houston and Bette Midler, both of whom turned it down. I think Midler would have been fantastic. She later regretted her decision. William Goldman, who adapted the Stephen King novel, recommended Kathy Bates to director Rob Reiner. Bates and James Caan allegedly did not hit it off during production due to their conflicting acting styles. She was theater trained and wanted lots of rehearsal time, while Caan relied more on spontaneity. Though Stephen King wasn't always satisfied with how his novels were translated into film, he stated being very pleased with Misery. The film was a critical and box office success and propelled the relatively unknown Kathy Bates to a prolific film career and 3 additional Oscar nominations. I think she deserved to win. And if you don't agree, you'll have to deal with Annie. You dirty bird.
My analysis of this soul, the human psyche, leads me to believe that man is not truly one, but truly two.
1931's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde starred Frederick March, who became the first actor to win an Oscar not only for a performance in a horror film, but for playing dual roles. The film was, of course, based on the novella by Robert Louis Stevenson, and its title has become synonymous with a type of person we've all likely encountered at some point in our lives.
Perhaps you prefer a gentleman, eh? One of those fine-mannered, virtuous, and honorable gentlemen. One of those canting hypocrites who like your legs but talk about your garter.
What are you talking about?
Ah, my poor little innocent. It doesn't know what I'm talking about, eh? Well, it's afraid of me, isn't it?
No.
John Barrymore was the first choice to recreate his role in the 1920 version, but because he was under contract to MGM, Paramount went with Frederick March, who bore a physical resemblance to Barrymore. Interestingly, when MGM remade the film 10 years later with Spencer Tracy, the studio bought the rights to the novel along with the 1920 and 1931 films and ordered all prints destroyed. For years, the Frederick March version was believed to be lost, but thankfully prints exist today. Although there have been at least 7 incarnations of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Frederick March version is perhaps the most notable for its place in Oscar history, as Frederick March was the first to tie with another nominee, Wallace Beery, in The Champ. Because the rules were different in the early years, a nominee who came within 3 votes of the performance which received the highest number was also deemed a winner. In this instance, Beery came in second by 1 vote, so he also won. Do you know how many ties have occurred to date? If you answered 7, you're correct. Which would describe you? Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde?
I need to speak with his parents.
Well, I hate to say it, but his parents have been feeling unwell as of late, and I'm staying with them to help take care of Alex.
Oh, so it's serious.
Oh, no, it's not serious. Nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
A touch of consumption?
Yeah.
2025 had not one, but two horror films which resulted in acting Oscar wins. Amy Madigan won Best Supporting Actress for her performance as Aunt Gladys in Weapons.
The bus didn't pick me up where it was scheduled to, and I had realized far too late that I was standing on the wrong corner, and by the time I put that together, I'd missed it entirely, so I had to walk all the way across town to get here.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I am sorry to tell you this, sweetie, but I am on the verge of collapse. Oh. Could I please have some water?
Though she doesn't appear in Weapons until later in the film, Aunt Gladys becomes the central figure in this story of children acting, well, a little off.
Now, when I tell you that you are not to speak about me or your parents to anyone, you understand what can happen if you break your promise. I can make your parents hurt themselves. I can make them hurt each other. I can make them eat each other if I want to.
For me, Aunt Gladys was a tad reminiscent of Ruth Gordon's character in Rosemary's Baby. She's coming up later. I actually put off watching Weapons during the SAG Awards voting period because it didn't look like the type of film I would normally choose. However, once I saw Weapons, I not only enjoyed it, but I voted for Amy Madigan. Zach Kreger, who wrote, produced, and directed the film, chose Madigan for the role because he remembered her from Field of Dreams. How did Amy Madigan make Oscar history? She now has the longest gap between a first nomination and a win, 40 years. Who held the record previously? Alan Arkin, whom Madigan bested by 1 month. What did you think of Aunt Gladys?
Hi. I'm fine. He picked me, Mommy. Did you hear me? I didn't mean to do Swan Queen. Well, I'll be home soon. I just wanted to let you know. I love you too.
In 2010's Black Swan, Natalie Portman won her Best Actress Oscar in this tale of a ballet dancer who suffers from a quasi-Jekyll and Hyde persona. Black Swan focused more on the psychological horror aspects of the story, where Portman's character loses her grip on reality as we watch her descend into madness.
So, do you want to talk about it?
Is that our day?
Well, we're playing a little too rough for you. Come on, Nina, he's
brilliant.
Sure, but it's not like he's all warm and fuzzy.
Well, you don't know it.
For me, Black Swan was much more disturbing than typical films in the horror genre. Natalie Portman's performance is among my favorites to win in the Best Actress category. Not only did she spend 6 months training for her ballet scenes, but the actress embodied this tortured soul with a depth and bravado that left me reeling for quite some time after the film concluded. Winner of more than 25 awards for her performance as the tormented Nina, Natalie Portman did face backlash from Sarah Lane, a member of the American Ballet Theater, who served as the actress's dance double. Lane claimed Portman did not perform her own dancing, though some believe this may have been in response to Lane not receiving proper credit in the film. And while that may have been a valid reason to be miffed, I believe that Natalie Portman's brilliance went beyond the ballet sequences, so much so that I never watched the film twice. Your thoughts?
I'm thinking we just set up tonight. Open up next weekend. Nah, that. It's gotta be tonight. Grand opening, start the with a bang. Or we start with a misfire. Look at that sky. That's a mighty fine day to be free, ain't it? Our own juke joint. For us and by us, just like we always wanted.
As mentioned previously, 2025 was a banner year for the horror genre, with Michael B. Jordan winning an Oscar for an actor in a leading role for his performance in Sinners.
You heard of Smokestack Twins?
Of course.
Good. I'm Smoke. No. You're not in no trouble. See, I'm trying to put some money in your pocket. See, I'm gonna need you to come sit in this truck right here. If somebody come and look a little too long, I want you to lean on this horn, all right?
Like Frederick March, Michael B. Jordan won for playing dual roles. In Sinners, he portrayed Elijah and Elias, the Smokestack twins.
We was never gonna be free. We've been running around everywhere looking for freedom. You know damn well you was never gonna find it. Until this. This is the way. Together. Forever. And I ain't doing this shit without you. There is no me without you.
In addition to our sharing the same first name, Michael B. Jordan stated that he too was not a horror movie fan, but he took the role saying that maybe if he knew how these types of films were made, he might like them a bit more. Now with an Oscar on his mantelpiece, I bet he likes them a lot. I've been an outspoken critic of Sinners, mainly because of the extreme violence depicted in the film, which was a moneymaker and almost unanimously praised by critics. As for Oscar history, Sinners broke 2 records. It received the most nominations of any film to date, 16, and it ended up losing the most Oscars for any film, 12. So my question to you is this. How do you explain the disconnect between the branches of the Academy bestowing so many nominations upon the film, yet the membership as a whole not voting for it 75% of the time? Did the Academy like the film, but not really like it?
Listen, Rosemary, I got a 2-inch thick sirloin steak sitting defrosting right this minute. Why don't you and Guy come over and have supper with us tonight? What do you say?
Oh, no, we couldn't.
Why not?
No, really, that's very kind of you.
Listen,
but
it'd be a real help to us. First night we'll be alone since.
Are you sure it wouldn't be too much trouble for you?
Oh, honey, if there's trouble, I wouldn't ask you.
In 1968's Rosemary's Baby, Ruth Gordon won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her performance as Minnie Castevet.
Rosemary, tomorrow morning at 11?
All right.
Yeah, 11's fine, Abe. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, you too. No, not at all. All right, well, let's hope so. Goodbye. Well, there you are.
Hey, thanks a million,
Yes,
Minnie.
I don't know how to thank you, both of you.
Just have a fine, healthy baby, that's all. My, I can't wait to tell Lara Louise.
Doing quirky as only Ruth Gordon could, Minnie was the next-door neighbor who took a particular interest in Rosemary.
Hi, dear. We're not bothering you, are we? That's my dear friend, Lara Louise McBurney. Lives up on 12. Lara Louise is his Guy's wife, Rosemary.
Hello, Rosemary. Welcome to the Bram.
Lara Louise just met Guy. She wanted to meet you, too. Could we come in?
Of course, please.
Yes, there you are. Go ahead. Look what they got up there. There's a light for you.
Rosemary's Baby was a hugely popular novel that producer Robert Evans purchased the film rights to before it was even published. Francois Truffaut and Alfred Hitchcock both turned down offers to direct. Sketches were drawn for the characters of Minnie and Roman Castevet, which were used by Paramount's casting directors to match with potential actors. Ruth Gordon began her film career in 1915 and already earned 4 Oscar nominations by the time she appeared in Rosemary's Baby. 3 of those were for the screenplays she co-wrote with her husband Garson Kanin, A Double Life, Pat and Mike, and Adam's Rib. Rosemary's Baby not only brought Gordon the Oscar, but it revived her film career, where her trademark dotty old lady character was used to good advantage in such films as Harold and Maude and Every Which Way But Loose. She even reprised her role as Minnie in the television sequel, Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby. Best to stick to the original. Before I conclude with a pair of actors who both won Oscars for their roles in one of the most famous horror films of all time, and I know you know who I'm talking about, I want to thank you for watching this video. We all have our favorite types of movies, minor musicals, but I wanted to pay homage to the horror category because of its immense and growing popularity. If you're not yet a member of our wonderful Oscar nerd community, become a subscriber and join us for a new video each week, and be sure to vote in the daily polls. You'll be my #1 fan if you give the video a thumbs up and share it with a fellow Oscar nerd or two.
That expires in 1 week. You're not real FBI, are you?
I'm still in training at the academy.
Jack Crawford sent a trainee to me.
Yes, I'm a student. I'm here to learn from you. Maybe you can decide for yourself whether or not I'm qualified enough to do that.
That is rather slippery of you, Agent Starling.
1991's Silence of the Lambs broke a lot of barriers, including becoming only the 7th film in Oscar history to win in the lead actor and actress categories. Its stars Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster are both 2-time Oscar winners.
I'll help you catch him, Clarice.
You know who he is, don't you? Tell me who decapitated your patient, Doctor.
All good things to those who wait.
Though many believe Anthony Hopkins won with the shortest screen time in the Best Actor category, he actually came in second to David Niven in Separate Tables. Hopkins' performance is so powerful that he remains in our consciousness even when he is not on screen.
Buffalo Bill's real name is Louis Friend. I met him just once. He was referred to me in April or May 1980 by my patient Benjamin Raspel. They were lovers, you see. But Raspel had become very frightened. Apparently, Louis had murdered a transient and done things with the skin.
As Hannibal Lecter, Hopkins dominates Silence of the Lambs. Whether you believe he was a lead or supporting actor, his performance is indelible. And while I don't think Jodie Foster's role as Clarice Starling was as showy, she matched Hopkins in their tennis match of wits.
He was a town marshal, and one night he surprised 2 burglars coming out of the back of a drugstore. They shot him.
Was he killed outright?
No, he was very strong. He lasted more than a month. My mother died when I was very young, so my father had become the whole world to me. And when he left me, I had nothing. I was 10 years old.
Foster gave her usually strong performance as the FBI trainee who was called upon to put together the pieces of the puzzle surrounding the whereabouts of serial killer Buffalo Bill.
Yes, I took one limb and I ran away as fast as I could.
Where were you going, Clarice?
I don't know. I didn't have any food, any water, and it was very cold. Very cold. I thought if I could save just one, but he was so heavy. He was so heavy.
Time for more trivia. The original choices for the roles eventually played by Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster were Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer, both of whom turned the film down. I'm not sure if Connery was up to the challenge. I guess I'll always think of him as James Bond. But I think Michelle Pfeiffer would have been great. As for the Oscars, Silence of the Lambs is the 3rd film to win in all top 5 categories and remains to date the only horror film to win Best Picture. It perhaps stands as the benchmark for horror films that have stood the test of time. What do you think? Quid pro quo? The Academy has slowly begun catching up to the public's love of horror films, but for many, it has a long way to go. Of course, there are dozens of movies in the genre that didn't win any acting Oscars. The Exorcist, Psycho, and Hereditary among them. Perhaps a topic for a future video. In the meantime, until we meet again, Here is Ruth Gordon giving what might be the most modest acceptance speech in Oscar history.
I can't tell you how encouraging a thing like this is.